there's a lot that you can do with it. So I used AI to come up with the title for today. It's not perfect, but from design to delight, creating engaging coding experiences for elementary students with AI. And so, and also all of the imagery is stuff that I developed with AI, and we're going to talk about this a little bit today. Just a little bit about me. I graduated from IP&T, started in 2015, finished in 2018 after I was already working. I worked with Peter doing coding with elementary students. Before I came here, I was an elementary school teacher for 5 years. And this is my family, and I've got 3 kids, and I don't get that much sleep at night. So that's my wife, Kristen, and we live in Saratoga Springs. I work for a nonprofit called Boot Up that actually Peter Rich consults with them. He's an external evaluator on our programs. And so as I was working with him, he said, hey, there's an opening at Boot Up, and your job, what you've been doing with me, like it's the perfect fit. So I applied, and then the rest is history. So at Boot Up, we teach coding in elementary school. We've had the opportunity to partner with Amazon Future Engineer. And so they have funded us for the past 4 years, and we have 2.5 years more of the current funding that we're traveling across the United States, teaching coding to elementary students across the US. And the way our program works is that we function in whole districts. We're wanting that equitable access to computer science and coding. So rather than just hitting small schools, primarily right now, we partner with the district. We ask the district to provide an administrator to kind of own the program after we're done. And then it's long-term professional development where we come repeatedly throughout a year with the same group of teachers. The district decides which teachers are going to deploy coding in elementary. And so we see those teachers again and again, and we do a combination of professional development where they come and we teach them how to do coding with their students. And then we follow that up usually with a day of us going into the classroom and demonstrating for them. So as things are new, they can see what the lessons we just did the day previous looks like with their kindergartners through 5th or 6th graders. I really like it. It lets me still be in the elementary school without having to grade papers, which, you know, so we're going to start out. I'm going to ask if you'll enter the role of an elementary student. I will try not to be super condescending, but no, I'm just kidding. But if you can click, this first bit.ly link right here is to this slide presentation. If you want access to it, it's bit.ly/CodeQuest AI, and the code and the quest is capitalized and the AI is capitalized. And then the reason why you might want some slides is there's links in it that we'll click on. It'll make it a little bit easier. The other one is that we're going to do our little activity. We're going to take about 10 minutes to do this activity. It is bootuppd.org/codequests. And giving you about 10 minutes of experience with this will set up kind of what we're going to talk about today, I think. Well, and we have an hour, right? So 12:50 is when we're done. Okay. So once you get here at CodeQuests, we developed K2 superhero projects, and we developed a 3+ tech agent missions. Now these CodeQuests, we thought that students would be excited about doing coding if there was an engaging reason for doing coding. So as you're going to see, we put them in the role of secret agent tech crew who need to help a field agent who's out in the field. They need to develop things for this field agent in order to help. So I'm going to play this video, and you can click on this number 1 as well. I'm going to play this. There's a teacher video, and then there are student tutorials, which after we play the video, you'll just follow one of those tutorials just to kind of get an idea. If you don't know how to code in Scratch, there's a link that will take you right there. It's okay if you don't know how to code in Scratch. Like the point of these is to help kids who've never coded in Scratch before in their step-by-step tutorial. So let's take a few minutes to do this. I'm gonna play this video to set up the program.
Scanning facial features. CTA agent confirmed. Initiate message.
Welcome, agents. You are the newest members of the CTA, the Covert Technology Agency, a secret spy network of young tech agents who provide support for undercover operatives across the world. One of our best undercover agents is on their way to infiltrate a shadow organization codenamed the Malignant. We don't know much about this organization, but everything we have learned greatly concerns us. The secrecy of our agent's identity is so important that we will not reveal it, even to you. A spy is only as good as their disguise. This is where you come into play. Our operative is in possession of the Maskmaster 3000, a state-of-the-art synthetic mask creator. With it, they can make any mask to look like anybody in the world. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to code and upload a program for the Maskmaster 3000, enabling our undercover agent to develop a secret persona and alias for themselves. We have hidden a tutorial guiding you through coding this program on the website of our civilian shell organization called BootUp. We are the top secret side of BootUp. Find the tutorial, watch it, then get to work. You have 1 hour to complete this mission. Good luck. This message will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
Okay, so now this is the 1 hour timer, and we'll talk about the hour of code in just a minute, but that's why it's set for 1 hour. I'm going to keep this playing, and if you will go to this right here, go to resources link, and this is a step-by-step tutorial. So this has 4 steps to complete it. We won't get through all 4 of them, but go ahead and press, yeah, actually, you know what? Are you okay if, well, no, I'll let you do it and I'll facilitate. Go ahead and click on the link. It'll take you to a video teaching you what to do. And I'll just walk around like I would walk around in the classroom and facilitate. We'll do this for about 5 more minutes.
Could you drop that document link into the chat?
Yes.
Are we doing which one? The 1A, 1B?
Click on the first one.
Choose.
The A and the B are 2 different options of things you can choose. So if you watch that first video, it'll teach you what to do with the 1A and 1B. And then the resources.
I will, is that right?
I have my cute little.
This is the project. This is the video that will show you. You already watched it.
Oh, sorry, slash. Capital C, code quest, capital Q.
AI. I try it. Yeah. Don't create an account. Don't remix it because we won't save it. Students will, they'll. So go ahead and just go to the next, back to here and go on to the initialize. Yep. So don't remix it. Just go to the next step that says initialize code in that document and watch that next video. And then we'll probably end with that.
Now that you've remixed the project, you can put it to her.
We want to.
On these categories here, it'll zoom up for you. You can scroll or you can also click on those buttons. Probably take like 2 more minutes and then we'll move on. But if you want to do this in your own time, and by all means, you can. It's just to give a little bit of taste for.
I'm curious if you ever have students that don't understand what it's pretend.
So I presented this, I was not in the classroom. We shared this with teachers and teachers presented it, but we gave the teachers little guidance where we said, you know, willing suspension of disbelief makes this more fun, but I always tell my students at the very beginning, we're gonna pretend this is real, but it's a great question. Okay. How many of you are sick of this song? Okay, so we have 4 activities like this. So Monday, they were starting on this activity. They did the activity, they created the code, and you can kind of see, and then we had them share it to a studio. So let me go to my Scratch. Yeah. Oh, I took me right there. That's nice. Well, I won't go into it. You can go to, there's a studio where you can add it to, your version to with our agent. This takes you to a studio and you can see students who have gone through this activity. They've created a whole bunch of different masks where they enter the role of these coding mask masters. Now you'll start to see some of these other projects. So looking at the other projects, we have the next day, the story builds on itself. And so it's a narrative that carries over the full week. And the next day, the students build a Morse code where they type in their computer and it sends a Morse code message. And if they send the right code, then it automatically plays a Morse code message back to them that they have to see if they can decode. The next day, they have to hack into a security keypad from the enemy to lock the enemy out from entering a room to help our agent escape. And there's a whole story with nanobots and two scientists who've been kidnapped, and our agent is trying to help them escape. And if you've seen Big Hero 6, it's kind of these using the nanobots that could be used for good. This organization is using it for bad. And then lastly, the satellite transmission. They have to broadcast data from a satellite up into space, code the satellite in space to turn, and then transmit the data back to our headquarters, preserving some tech information. And all of these ideas are to, they have specific coding concepts they're designed to teach. So this one's just the basics of changing costumes, initializing. This one is events. As we get into like number 4, we're dealing with something called broadcasting, sending messages from one sprite is what they're called in Scratch to another. And so it was kind of a big project. And so just to show you kind of who joined in this, we had 61,942 students registered for this. We don't know if all of them actually participated in it, but we had 1,248 classrooms who were registered for this. We had students from the US, Australia, Canada, Ireland, India, and Kuwait who participated in this activity. So what normally goes into a production like this, where you're developing videos, it's kind of theatrical things that are pretty simple, but this is what, as I was thinking about it, what it could take. We got a marketing and a graphic design team, which I don't have the skill to be able to do. I'm not an artist. So artists who create website imagery, advertisements, video content, writers to develop and write an adventurous, age-appropriate narrative. We would need voice actors to record the audio, and you'd need a team to record that, and you need people to edit the audio. You would need a producer, an editor to edit the video, and a development team, someone to develop those tutorials for the students, and record those tutorials. But we had in our organization, we had a team of 1 working on this, and and so I don't know how to do all of this stuff. So I thought, well, let me use AI. And actually this project is what helped me really delve into what AI was out there. I had heard about ChatGPT and was playing with it. I'd heard about like Midjourney and the image editing software. But then I was working on this, and I was thinking about recording it myself and trying to do the different voices myself, which I like, but it's time intensive. And I was like, well, I wonder if there's a voice one. And sure enough, there is. So we'll take a look at this. So graphic design and marketing. I had to create ads and flyers to go into like superintendents' magazines and put on the web. I don't have that skill. So I turned to image editing software, and I put what I prompted down here and the image that I received. So this is the beginning, and I'm showing you a progression of what I had to do to get AI to develop what I was looking for, what I wanted. So I searched secret agent comic book theme. That was my first search, and it wasn't super specific. And I will tell you, I still don't know all the prompting that a lot of you know a heck of a lot better than I do. So this is what I first got. Then I wanted it to appeal to more of a national audience. So I wanted some diversity in there. So I searched for an African-American James Bond, and this is what I got. And this is to appeal to like kids. So I said teenage African-American James Bond. This is what I got. Still too old. Teenage African-American James Bond with teenage Asian female James Bond. This is what I got. 12-year-old African-American James Bond with female teenage Asian version of James Bond sticker. And I added sticker there because I wanted the imagery to look like, kind of like a vector sticker. So this is what I got. And actually I liked that. I liked her. but he still looks like he's like, 20. So not 12. So I said 10-year-old and all of this stuff. And I like that. And you see how there's the white outline to him. So I liked her. I liked him. And the nice thing about using AI is if you can do something called image to image, where it'll reference one image that it's generated to generate more images. So you see their poses, not her, but his pose and her pose are similar. So I downloaded this image, erased the background in him in Photoshop, erased the background in her, and this like kind of gun that isn't a gun that AI generally does. And I liked him. And before I show you the finished product, I want to show you some of the other results that you get with, and which I'm sure you've all seen. So that was the 10-year-old African-American James Bond with a female Asian James Bond sticker vector style. So I don't know what $10 ye stands for. But so you gotta like sift through. But the end result from these images, and I have a little bit of Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator experience. These were the ads that we were able to create based off of the imagery that AI gave to us. So we did a K2 space that I'm not talking about because I did all the advertising for it, but one of my colleagues did the program, and I'm just focusing on this one. So I have this image because AI developed that for me. So you can see I used it in the background of these. I used the same spy that's in the slide presentation and a generic superhero. Whenever you type superhero in AI, it like mixes up Captain America, Batman, and Superman. So you'll have the Superman S with bat ears and stuff. So you have to play a little bit and be patient. But I am like, I'm pleased with this. And some of you who may be graphic designers might be like, well, they're that wrong and that wrong. But I was doing the best I could. So these were our advertisements that we put in. And I never would have been able to do this without, my primitive knowledge of AI. So let's talk about kind of more of the process. That was the marketing. Now this is the development of both the tutorials and that theatrical setup, the briefing that we're going to do. And then we're going to do maybe a little briefing as well. So on the next slide, we're going to have to look a whole ton at this, but I just took one of my prompts to ChatGPT that we can look at really quick. You can scroll through. I copied and pasted it. So what's a good font for a spy theme? You can see that this is still marketing stuff. Create a one-page flyer that's targeted for superintendents. So this is what it came up with. And one of the things that when I was talking with Peter about AI, one of the things that he does when he works with AI, and he noticed that I did, he's like, oh, that's something that I want to share with the students, is that you don't accept the first answer. It's not like, hey, this is doing my job for me. You're the curator. You're the expert. And so when it pumps something out, you need to say like, okay, well, is this vocabulary isn't really age appropriate. I want it to be, more targeted towards 10-year-olds. And then you keep on working it and curating it and prompting it until it gives you something that you like. So these are the flyers. I'm not going to take the time. I said here, don't accept the first result, reprompt and fine tune. So it sounded too much like a sales pitch. So I said, make it more genuine, less sales sounding. And you can tell that I don't know how to prompt AI, but it still gives you decent results, even if you don't know what you're doing. I was developing, I had the story in my mind. I was developing ideas, but I wanted to come up with like, what are some titles that I could use for this? Let me make this bigger so you can see a little more. So create a list of 20 possible titles for a kid's coding spy quest with the words boot up in it. And it came up with all of these. And you can see boot up cryptic code quest. I ended up changing it a little bit, but that was kind of the inspiration. So I still feel like this is my creation. I still feel like this is my work. But a lot of the ideas, like I knew what I wanted, but I didn't know exactly, didn't want to take the hours of time thinking and writing and thinking and thinking. So this was a really good opportunity for me to just ask it, prompt it to give me some ideas. So make up a list of names for the device in Mission Impossible that creates masks on the spot. So this is theirs, and I went with the Mask Master 3000. I like that. But, I mean, we could have gone with the Facecraft Pro. That was a close second. So I just wanted to show you, this is my process, and actually I'd like to do this with you. Let's create a script. Think about Mission Impossible briefing style, and this is purposefully not that fleshed out, not that good. So Agent Peter Rich, codenamed the Wealthy Professor, is a British sleeper agent stationed in a quaint US college town. He has expertise in filching out moles. He would like you, a tech agent, to covertly write a sound sensitivity alarms scratch program. So when he is not in the room, it can detect noise from enemy spies and sound an alarm. So you can copy this. We can do it together, but I want to see if you can go into Chat GPT and prompt it to come up with a Mission Impossible style, should you choose to accept it, briefing based off of that information right there, and see what it gives you. You can use however much you want to contribute to that story, that's great, or however much you want to just let AI develop the story for you, that's great. This picture is a link to Chat GPT, so if you click on it, it'll take you there. You'll probably have to log in.
So remind me again what it is we're looking for. It's a briefing.
It's a briefing. It's like a Mission Impossible style briefing. And I even put a Mission Impossible style, should you choose to accept it, style briefing or something like that. This is me who doesn't know how to prompt. And then curate it. So some of you may still be working. I'm just gonna read, if you're still going, that's fine. But I'm gonna read what I typed in the prompt and the story that it gave to me. Create a Mission Impossible style, should you choose to accept it, briefing using the following information. Flesh out the story a little bit more for me, and then I pasted that little description. And so this is what it came up with for me. Agent Peter Rich, codenamed the Wealthy Professor, is a highly skilled British sleeper agent embedded in a serene US college town. His expertise lies in ferreting out moles within intelligence networks. Recently, intel has surfaced suggesting heightened enemy spy activity in his vicinity. Fortify his defenses, Agent Rich requires assistance from a tech specialist to develop a covert sound sensitivity alarm system. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to clandestinely engineer a scratch program capable of detecting unauthorized sound disturbances in Agent Rich's absence. This alarm system will serve as an invaluable tool in alerting him to potential threats posed by enemy operatives attempting to breach his location. I like it. I could change some things here. Did anybody get something that they want to share from what you prompted it to do? Okay, well, interrupt me if you want. I'm going to copy this. And then typically we'd have to find someone with a, a commanding voice too, or a British voice or something like this to record this script. You need to get a studio or like do like I do and lay on your floor in your office with underneath your desk with pillows stationed around you and record so that the car noise or the air conditioning noise doesn't, which, yeah, I've done a lot of. Or this is what was really exciting for me, or we can record the audio. And so what I did for the audio with this is 11 labs. And just by the way, everything I did was with the free trial or the non-paid versions of it. I may or may not have had to create 3 different Google accounts so that I could sign up under and get more characters, like characters, not like people characters, but like number of letter characters that 11 Labs uses. So I'm going to click on this. And this is one I tried last night. I'm going to paste what we just did here. And they have voices that they've put in there for us. So
The world is round, and the place, which may seem like the end, may also be the beginning.
So he's like a British agent, right? So maybe we could use, Daniel. We can listen to some of the others though, like Arnold.
What worries you masters you?
No. Not Arnold. Bill. Oh, Bill.
Be here now. Be someplace else later. Is that so complicated?
Callum's British. Clyde,
I'd
Orville.
rather regret the things that I've done than the things that I have not done.
What do we like? Do we like Clyde?
I'd rather regret the things that I've done than the things that I have not done.
Do we like Daniel?
The world is round, and the place, which may seem like the end, may also be the
National
beginning.
Geographic.
I like the shady version.
Well, let's try both. I have enough characters, so I chose Daniel, and I pasted our text in there, and you can redo this a number of times. It takes more of your like free or even your paid, like the number of characters or words that you can do. But sometimes they don't read things well, and you can like submit just one sentence and it changes the inflection, and it's pretty amazing. So I am going to generate what we pasted in there. And this little
Agent Peter Rich, codenamed the Wealthy Professor, is a highly skilled British sleeper agent embedded in a serene US college town. His expertise lies in ferreting out moles within intelligence networks. Recently, intel has surfaced suggesting heightened enemy spy activity in his vicinity. To fortify his defenses, Agent Rich requires assistance from a tech specialist to develop a covert sound sensitivity alarm system. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to clandestinely engineer a scratch program capable of detecting unauthorized sound disturbances in Agent Rich's absence. This alarm system will serve as an invaluable tool in alerting him to potential threats posed by enemy operatives attempting to breach his location.
Yeah, I like it. So I can download it right here. And that's totally National Geographic. I can like, as he's talking, I'm like, I can see like little, I don't know, little hummingbirds, sucking nectar out of the flower or something. So you just download it and it downloads it as an MP3. Now that file is mine.
Agent Peter Rich, codenamed the Wealthy Professor,
You can
is a highly skilled British sleeper agent embedded in a serene US.
And so I have to move all my windows around, and you can see right here, this is the free version. I have 10,000 characters normally. My quota remaining is 8,587. So for these little debriefs, I had plenty, and it resets each month. And so it was fine for me to,
Emails.
what's that?
Ready new email.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. I actually had 4. And so work, personal, actually 2 personal, but there was no problem with the debriefs. It's when I got into creating the tutorial, which how many of you recognize just in the few seconds that you did it, Jazzy's voice. I'm going to regenerate this in Jazzy's voice.
Agent Peter Rich, codenamed the Wealthy Professor,
is a
This is
highly skilled
my-
British sleeper agent embedded in a serene U.S. college town.
Jazzy was
His
me.
expertise lies in ferreting out moles within intelligence networks.
So in like creating a tutorial, I just had to screen record me building the project and then watch the video and type in a sentence and download it. And anyway, the tutorials took a lot more of that quota to work through all the tutorials. So that's why I needed all the different accounts. So now I've got the audio file, but I wanted to play. And I use the free YouTube audio library. It's go to YouTube Studio when you're signed into YouTube. They've got free royalty-free music. So I typed in Spy right here in their music. And this is designed to allow creators to put music in their videos that isn't copyright protected. And so I just use these for our activities. And yesterday I started some of the ones that I liked. You're on a more of like that 60s, like Dick Tracy, like, hey, I was an agency, you know, or this is still kind of the 60s, disco-y, spy feel, or there's one called Spying in the 60s.
Agent Peter Rich, codenamed the Wealthy Professor, is a highly skilled British sleeper agent embedded in a serene US college town. His expertise lies in ferreting out moles within intelligence networks.
How many of you are wondering if Peter Rich really is a spy? It just sounds like you got that British voice and that like music on in the background. It's like, I don't know, maybe. Okay, so all of this again is free. So then I've got the script, I've got the audio that sounds awesome. And like that audio is huge for me because recording it, not having to edit it. And if something didn't sound right, you just type in that sentence again and generate it again. And you've got that file there. And then developing the imagery, I used Playground AI. So they've got these different filters here. I'm gonna put in a photo of BYU campus in the fall. Maybe in my video, I say he's, a secret agent in a quaint college town or something like that. So maybe I want to use the photo in my video of BYU campus in the fall. And if this works like it did, oh shoot. Oh good. You can set how many images that you wanted to generate at a time. You can also include things to exclude from the image. So I'm going to generate this. Yesterday when I did this, oh shoot, it's being used right now. So it's not going to show me, it's not going to let me do it. But it generated stuff yesterday and you could tell it wasn't BYU, but it looked very BYU-like, and every picture had this like half temple, half church in the background. I tried to say like, hey, like get rid of the church, but it didn't. But in some of my videos, I needed like a room that was an old World War II communications room. And I knew I wasn't going to find that on like stock video or stock footage. So I looked for it, and fits for the Morse code one. And so this is the image that I created was a decently realistically looking. I mean, it was dusty and kind of things were decrepit and break it apart because I prompted it to be so. And also the scientist twins were kidnapped from their lab. And I needed a lab that looked high tech, but also looked like it had been ransacked a little bit. And so I was able to leverage AI. And if you want to see the videos, by all means, go to that boot up code quest and you can see those. And then the last thing I want to talk about with time that I have, I think we're right on target, is editing the video. Now that's where I did the bulk of the work. But based on what ChatGPT gave us, our little script, I used resource called Vecteezy. Has anybody heard of Vecteezy? It's like stock footage, vector images. This is, I've used this ever since I was a student here. They've got a lot of free stuff. This is the one thing that I do have paid access to, which was like super invaluable. Because well, my boot up pays for it. And most of the video that I put in the actual video of this was stock footage. But there are new AI technologies now that are now creating videos, and I haven't delved into that yet, but you can prompt, and I've tried a few things and it's got work, but I've seen some stuff that you can say, this is what I want a video of, and we'll show you realistic video of whatever you type in there. So looking at our chat GPT, what's something in here stock footage wise that we might look for to, because all of this verbal text needs video to go along with it. So can you pick out something there that I can like search for in Vecteezy? Vecteezy is vector images, but they also have stock footage. So you can choose here from vectors. I just went into videos. And does anybody see anything here? Now it's not gonna, I don't know that it's gonna have anything with Scratch.
Something like detecting the sound disturbances in
Okay.
the agent's absence.
Okay, good.
That's
So perfect. I'm gonna go to Vecteezy and I'm gonna say sound wave detector. And I don't know if this is going to come up with anything, but this is the process that I had to go through to generate these videos. So we've got all of this type of stuff. And most of the time they don't have audio to them, but really you just want to see something that looks cool anyway, like elementary kids, you know, even if you watch real spy movies, they have everything like, you know, this graphic representation of perfectly explaining. You're like, okay, what program does that? So you just got to find something that looks high tech. I'm just going to even just type in high tech gadget. And yeah, or maybe we have someone, I don't know. Type in sound sensitivity. And this is where I spent most of my time trying to find just the right thing that would, maybe this little thing right here. Maybe I want that. I download this video and as he's talking about that one little clip, right? Where is it? Here. Yeah, I can put that video there, or I can maybe type in like secret spy and it gets someone shifty-eyed. So anyway, you have to get a little bit creative when using stock footage to search for things that you want, and you have to build a lot of it. So a combination of those things drastically reduced the time to produce this, so that when it came live, I was able to kind of run the whole thing with AI. And I'm terrible at ending presentations, but that is kind of my process that I went through to create that. And I want to share that this session talking about AI wasn't really intended to talk about like ethics of AI and whether it's safe or not. And I'm on both sides of that coin. Like, this is so cool, and yet this is so like could potentially be scary. But I know you're all taking classes, like, or some of you are taking a class with David Wiley talking about that, and I'm like, oh, I want to join. But there are things that you can do to follow AI, and so with that, I will close the presentation and open it up for anyone who has any questions or comments that they want to share. Please.
You keep downplaying what you know, but you clearly know a lot about like video making, and like that first video that you showed was incredibly impressive, and this is incredible. But so tell us a little bit more about what you know, like what knowledge are you bringing into this to be able to do this?
So I am self-taught with video editing, but like since high school, I took a TV video journalism class in high school. Actually, I just saw a video on Instagram that someone says, "Are you really a jack of all trades, or do you just have ADHD, so you're mediocre at everything?" I'm like mediocre. I'm not good enough to like get a video editing like job. I've tried to apply when I was a student here and didn't pan out for me. But I know enough to kind of like play. So I know the Adobe Creative Suite pretty well. I built all of the programs. That's actually how I started this whole thing, as I was like, okay, what's a feasible program that an upper elementary, third, fourth, fifth, sixth grade elementary student would be able to conceptually like do? And that would fit in a spy theme. And the ideas that I came up with, one of them I didn't use was this sound sensitivity. There's a Scratch program that uses your internal microphone, that if things are too loud, it will set off an alarm. And actually, my sister-in-law is a kindergarten teacher. So I built her a Scratch app that it's one of those, have you seen those red, yellow, green lights that use Scratch for a teacher tool for students? And it's not perfect, but if her students get too noisy, or if the voice is pitched too high, apparently it'll trigger that alarm. But so it's not perfect, but it's pretty good. And her students, she's like, man, they know. And so, and when the light turns yellow, it goes, and when it goes red, it actually alarms a voice that says, oh, you've lost one of your chances. You have 2 more chances before you have to end this activity, or something like that. So I know Scratch because I've been working with it. Actually, I started in 2015 with Peter. I was like, he said, we need a research assistant who knows coding. I was like, I don't know coding, but I know elementary school. And so he's like, well, it was nice. I got paid to play with Scratch. And so I started working with Peter, and now I have a pretty good grasp on elementary level Scratch coding and video editing. And so, and when I was an elementary school teacher, the reason why I came into the IP&T program was because in my personal life, I was watching like shows like White Collar. I don't know if you've all seen that. And Burn Notice, it's a Burnt Spy. Anyway, all these shows, and I was like, oh, these are not really but they're fun. And this is exactly the type of thing that like 6th graders. And so I was thinking like, could I use, and you remember, if you've seen Mission Impossible 3, he is going to save his wife, and he needs to get on top of a building, and he's looking out a glass window at 2 buildings, and he starts doing math to see if a fulcrum, he can swing on a rope to make it to, like, from one building, swing up to the top of another building to steal something. And I was like, oh, that's like circumference. That's like diameter or radius and circumference. It's the exact stuff that I'm teaching in 6th grade. And I was like, what if I like created a spy adventure for my students that encouraged them to do math, and the math helped them. It was a real life application of math. Like maybe they weren't actual spies, but it was a real application for something like, that, where they would have to like solve those problems they'd have to know math in order to solve those problems. And so, so all of that converged together. They're kind of my personal interests converged together to be this. So with that, I think I have to be done. Okay.
And it's time to go get something to eat, and we will see you back next week for another seminar. Thank you.